Ken Show. As you can see, I have a special guest today. I have Grandma Lou on the line today, and she's going to be talking about her medical problems and things that you should look out for when you have medical problems, because this isn't just a show for men. This is actually a show for the whole family. And with some of the issues that she's had in the past, I think it's really relevant and very important that she tells her story, because if you're a female and you're having problems and similar problems like this, you should not give up, because she went through 8 years of hell, and it really was unnecessary. So hopefully you guys can hear her. I'll have her speak up, and we'll get Grandma Lou on the line. We'll get her posted. So 1 second, and she'll be right here. Okay, everybody, this is Grandma Lou, and she's going to tell her story straight from the beginning. It actually started in 2008. I'll take it from there.
Hi everybody, this is Grandma Lou, and in 2008 I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And when my husband went with me to the doctor, and when he said that I had fibromyalgia, both my husband and I kind of looked at each other and we said, "Fibro what?" We had no idea what it was. And for those of you that don't know, fibromyalgia is a condition that affects the muscles, the joints, the tendons, and the soft tissues in your body, causing long-term widespread pain all over your body. And on top of that, I have scoliosis and arthritis, and I was a menopausal woman also, so that led to female problems, and it in general just caused a lot of problems. But I kept going to the doctor because I started out with abdominal pain, bloating, pelvic pain, and all the doctors kept telling me, "Oh, you're just menopausal, nothing's wrong, everything's okay." Well, a few years after, I kept complaining about the pain because the symptoms kept getting worse, and so they sent me for a colonoscopy. My doctor sent me for a colonoscopy, and even though I went for the colonoscopy, I was still told that everything was okay, that nothing was wrong. So I'm like, okay. And I even had one doctor tell me that it was all in my head, that nothing was wrong. And both my husband and I at one point, even started believing that. And I thought, well, maybe nothing is wrong. Maybe it is all in my head.
Well, I was actually believing it more than you, because the doctors were telling me that, yeah, it was all in her head.
Yeah, and the doctors kept saying that nothing was wrong. But the symptoms kept getting worse, and the abdominal pain there towards the end got so bad that it hurt even just to walk. And on top of that, I was taking care of grandkids, so it was really hard to get through the day.
And very stressful, no doubt, because you got a lot on your plate at that time.
You do, but you get through it. Anyway,
but there wasn't just four. There was 4 kids. There wasn't just 1 or 2. There was 4.
Right, there's 4. We take care of 4 grandkids: a 10-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 1-year-old. So, needless to say, our days are real busy. But I'm glad that I kept taking care of the grandkids, because if I would have stopped, I would have just gone downhill, and I don't think. Everything would have just got really bad, I think, if I would have stopped taking care of the grandkids. But I'm glad that I didn't stop taking care of the grandkids. But anyway, all my symptoms, kept getting worse, and I kept going to the doctor, and he kept telling me that nothing was wrong. And I finally said, well, if nothing is wrong, why am I having all this pain and so many problems? And so I got tired of it, and I finally switched doctors. And the new doctor that I have now is really, really good. I love her. She's an awesome doctor. She's the one that found my problem. She sent me for a CT scan, and she found the problem on the CT scan. And I ended up having surgery April 21st of 2015, and I ended up having to have 12 inches of my colon removed because it was so bad, because it went on for
Since 2008?
since 2008, which is what, 7 years? I'm not good at math, but 7 years, I think. But the doctor told my husband that that part of my colon was like a tree bark. It was so bad.
Yeah, when she got out of the surgery, the surgeon came over and talked to me and told me it was, the colon was so bad that it actually looked like tree bark, and she was really on her last leg on this. She didn't,
Yeah.
it was ready to turn into cancer.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was that close to being cancerous.
Yeah. But I had the surgery. Everything came out okay. And for the women out there, I just wanted to say that if you do have a problem and you do have health issues, don't give up. Just keep persisting. If a doctor tells you that nothing is wrong, and that it's all in your head, don't believe it, because more than likely there is something wrong. Like in my case, I gave up, and I thought, well, maybe it is all in my head, which it wasn't. And there towards the end, I'm glad I did switch doctors, because if I wouldn't have switched doctors, I wouldn't be here today. So I just wanted to tell women out there, and even though I was a menopausal woman, that doesn't mean that nothing's wrong. But don't give up, and just because the doctors tell you it's all in your head, that's not necessarily true. It's not in your head. But keep persisting, and like in my case, I finally, ended up switching doctors, and I have an awesome doctor now. I love my doctor, and everything turned out okay. And just keep persisting, and if you don't like what your doctor says, switch doctors, and just keep, switching doctors, or do what you have to do in order to find your problem, or, get the decision that you feel is right.
And also, you do have the right to have a second opinion. We did a couple of second opinions, but the problem with doctors these days, they are pushed to the limit. You get maybe, have you noticed that when you go see a doctor, you may get 5 minutes with that doctor? Well, you need to insist on getting more time with these doctors. That's all there is to it. I know the doctors get pressed, and I know these HMOs are really, really, they suck, pretty much. Everything nowadays, when it comes to medical, everything is fast, 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 push, push, push. But because of that, she ended up suffering for 7 years, since 2008. And it's really sad. So, she's saying the right thing when it comes to women. And if you have a problem, and more women have problems more than men because they have more intricate parts. I'm not saying it, we're the Volkswagen of the deal, they're the Ferraris of the deal. They got more moving parts than we do. So, so the thing is you need to really watch your health. And when you're menopausal, even if you're not menopausal, if you're feeling aches and pains that are for real aches and pains, and your doctor's saying that it's in your head, don't listen to it. It's real. If it's real, you need to keep looking for a doctor until they actually do some tests. Because most of the tests that they did to her were ultrasounds, and they were doing it of the female parts. Every time I took her to surgery, when she couldn't get up, she was, bent over and couldn't straighten out because she had so much pain. I took her to the ER, and they would do an ultrasound and say, she's got a cyst on her ovary, and that's all they'd say. And they were never checking for the right stuff. And they never went in depth with it until she found this doctor.
Until I got the doctor that I have now.
Right, and it really worked out to her benefit. I mean, it happened like that. After the doctor found it, boom, boom, boom. It happened really fast, where she got her surgery and things went really good. So here on the Grandpa Ken Show, we're going to give you medical histories on different people too, because so many people go out through life in pain, and their doctors don't find their pain until they actually die. And next thing you know, it's something that was missed, something simple that was missed. Like right now, the thing that I'm dealing with right now, I've been going on it for almost 2 years now, and I've lost almost my hearing completely. And now they finally found something. They missed it the first time. So, just because, you find yourself in a spot where there's a problem and the doctors don't see it the first time, keep nagging them. Keep nagging them. Eventually somebody's going to find something. If you don't like your doctor, do what Grandma Lou did and go get a different doctor.
Change doctors, tell them what's going on. I mean, I had so many symptoms with me going on because, for one, I have fibromyalgia. For two, I was menopausal. And that led to a bunch of problems. And so I just wrote down all my symptoms there towards the end because I was having so many symptoms. And when I switched doctors to the doctor that I have now and I told her what was going on, she couldn't believe it.
It's just crazy. I mean, I couldn't even believe what her doctor was saying. So I actually stopped going to her doctor appointments because I was just getting disgusted. And with me, I have a very short temper when it comes to misdiagnosing because I'll go off on a doctor. So I stopped going. But her surgeon actually came out and was really, really good about telling me about everything. So don't get frustrated at your doctors. Doctors get constant battering from people.
Right.
Constant. It's almost as bad as the police department. I feel bad for cops these days because they get bashed so much. But doctors do too. They get constant battering mainly from the corporation that they work for because it's so stressful in these cases nowadays. But don't give up.
Right, that's the thing. Don't give up because that's what I did after doctors kept telling me that it was all in my head. I gave up and I just thought, well, maybe it is all in my head. Maybe nothing is wrong. But when the symptoms started getting worse and worse and worse, I thought, no, it's not all in my head. Something's wrong.
We're not going to go into the gory effects of the last couple of months.
I'm not going to go into
they were horrible.
The details that I was having there towards the end.
Very, very bad.
It was bad.
But, you don't want to get to that point. You really don't. You want to address it before you get to that point.
Right.
So, anyway, this is a segment of Grandpa's Shorts. Thank you, Grandma Lou, for coming out and telling your story.
Welcome.
And we'll have more stories with Grandma Lou, different things, different subjects, along with other guests as well. So thank you once again, Grandma Lou, for coming on board and telling your story. And once again, we're going to say thank you to you for watching and for listening. And we're going to get out of here.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you for coming to Grandpa's Shorts. Bye-bye now.